Today we're visiting Morten and me and their two daughters in Copenhagen in their very space optimized apartment. And they're going to show us around, and I'm going to show you how to get into the bedroom this way. You guys used to live in a house outside of Copenhagen. How big was it, and why did you decide to move back into the downtown area of Copenhagen?
The house was 124 square meters.
Yeah.
We didn't really need that much space, but it was very important for us to live in the city and to feel the city close around us.
I was traveling 1 hour to work, forth and back, So
I mean, lot of commute
what
time.
is 2 hours worth every day of your life? I mean, it's hard to put a price on that.
Yeah.
And I like to just get on my bicycle and go to work, and it's just 10 minutes from where we live. This is our bedroom. And
Can I join you in here?
Yes, and you can go into the walk-in closet below the bed, and then we sleep up here.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is where you've really had to get creative.
We had to get very creative here, and we discussed it for a long time exactly how to use space optimal. We put a rack in here where you can hang all our hanging clothes is in here. We can sit here and choose what do I want to wear today.
Yeah.
And there's light, which is very important, so
Yeah,
you can
you
actually
put these
see what's
little
going on.
Christmas lights.
Yeah.
LED lights. Yeah.
And since it's so high and there's not much going around with air, it doesn't get that dusty in here,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
quite nice. And then we have stuff.
You have your
storage
luggage.
stuff.
And
This
you even
is-
have some shoes over here.
And then also underneath this one, there's swimming clothes. And everything has its place here, so we know exactly where everything is.
In the suitcase we got all our raincoats, and it's very important for us that it's easy to pick it up. We don't have the space for it in the entrance hall, so we need to have it here. And it's easy for us when it's rainy outside and the children have to get out of the door quickly.
My wife's perfumes and different cosmetics, it's in a very small shelf so we don't bump into it.
We put in a window just to get a better airflow, and the complete environment in the sleeping room will be better.
You can't stand up in here, that's the only problem, but once in a while we bump the head, but it's not that often. Besides the clothes we have in here, we also have each one closet, and this is what we have room for of clothes. If we have more clothes than can fit in here, we need to do something about it. I mean, this is plenty of clothes.
How did you find out how small you could go?
Before we had a house, we already had children, and we were living in a college room that was even smaller than this apartment. So we already tried living small, so we knew that was not going to be an issue for us.
Yeah.
When we were searching for the right place to live, we were not searching for a place with a special amount of rooms, but with rooms where there would be a possibility to divide it in some way.
We lived here for 1.5 years as it was when we moved in.
Okay.
And then we gradually started to plan how did we want the walls to be. It took us probably 6 months to figure it out. We were talking a lot, measuring a lot, and,
Yeah.
And since then we've just been optimizing little things as we get along.
This is your sleeping loft.
Our high bed, and
You don't have space for a nightstand, so you have these.
yeah.
You could just put your books and
Yeah,
stuff in
it's
it.
a flexible solution that doesn't really take up any space.
And this is a normal. Is it probably something like a queen size bed?
It would be considered a small double bed.
Yeah.
But since there's walls on both sides, you can lie all the way out to the side without falling out,
Yeah.
obviously. So it doesn't actually feel that small.
And it's so cozy. I love it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's and we use this actually as an extra room sometimes. If I want to watch TV or something, I'll take a tablet and lie up here and watch.
Get some privacy.
Yeah, to keep the air fresh, we have put ventilation.
Yeah.
Which is connected to the ventilation in our bathroom.
Most people, or some people, find it a little scary or daunting, the task of just sleeping in a confined space. You don't have any claustrophobia ever.
We have made the bed the way that there's enough space to sit up. And you can actually move around up there. For me, I don't feel that it's claustrophobic at all.
I get hot faster than Mia does, and for me sometimes it's a little bit hot up there. And in the summertime it can be a problem, but as I said, if we close the living room door, open both windows in each end of the apartment, there'll be a continuous draft through there if the ventilation is not enough.
You have this great office in here, and why did you choose to prioritize square feet on to get an office?
Sometimes it's nice to be able to work at home if the children were sick or whatever you need to do. Sometimes I have meetings with the US in the evening.
So you built this huge desk, and you both have room to sit and work here.
Yeah, it was cut so it fits into the hole here to get extra space.
So this around here was an existing door.
That was an existing door, yeah.
And you put a window in. You can open it in to the living room.
Yeah. We put in a window so we would get some actual daylight in here.
Yeah.
Also, we can get air inside the room because there's no other ventilation.
And you can keep an eye on the kids in there.
You can keep an eye on the kids. You can listen to music.
Otherwise.
You can listen to music from the living room if you need to, or if you just need to get a feel of more space.
More space.
It will give
so you
that
don't
one.
feel so confined.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Utility closet, basically, This is something we use all the time.
Yeah.
We don't have much down here that we're not using all the time.
Yeah. And this is the stuff you have to have space for it, otherwise it's gonna creep in everywhere. How did you find the downsizing process? Did you have to get rid of a lot of stuff coming from a house?
When we moved in here, the whole room in there, Dagmar's room and also our bedroom, was completely full to the roof with cardboard boxes of stuff. And this living room was completely furniture everywhere. Okay. So we just put on site like eBay a lot of furniture, and people were just coming and picking them up, and we were like, oh, you need a rug too, you need this and that, and then things were going out, and eventually there was space enough to be in here.
We have to admit that we do have a room in the attic
where
we put all the stuff. And
so sentimental stuff and
stuff that I think that we might get used for later.
And what you did here is it was one big room, and then you divided it up.
It's basically 2 closets here and 2 closets on the other side, and then plaster wall. And then we took the door from the socket over there and made a sliding door to save space. Yeah. Because one of the things in the apartment, as you will see, is that every room closes the door completely. If you in this room when you play loud music, you can't hear it outside. I mean, it's really soundproof
really nice.
roof.
Yeah.
The neighbor next door will probably be more bothered than we would be in the living room.
That's awesome. You put 2 completely identical closets like up against each other, and one you access from in here and one from the other side.
Yeah.
So whose room is this?
This is Rebecca, our oldest daughter. She's 14, and they needed to have each a room. Yeah. And we knew if we were going to live here until they grew up, we would have to do something about it.
So that was necessary for you, because a lot of people, they consider having the kids just share the room forever, but you wanted to give them a space each. She has a lot of space in here. She has her own desk.
Yeah.
And sleeping.
And sleeping up here, and there's no legs on the bed. It's just into the wall with bolts. Yeah. We chose to have it a fixed ladder on here, but it could have been a removable one. Yeah. There's storage in that. That's her scouting gear.
Ah. So that actually fits in her own room.
Yeah.
And she has room for a sofa.
And she has room for, and it's actually a sleeping sofa which can fold out, and 2 people can sleep here.
So then she can have 2 of her friends over and have a good time in her own room. Yeah. It's the basic mattress, but it's good for sleepovers and everything.
Yeah, it's just a basic foam mattress.
It's a really good option to have in a very small room.
Yeah.
How many square meters?
It's 10 square meters.
And she also has space for her pets.
Yes, 2 guinea pigs.
And it's a pretty big cage. How does the girls like their rooms?
They spend actually a lot of time in the rooms. And I think you often see in houses that children, they will take their toys and go into the living room.
Yeah.
Because they're not actually using their room.
Yeah.
And that's maybe if their room is in the other end of the house, it's not cozy.
Yeah.
But here, it's just next to the living room. So
Yeah.
she's actually
She's
almost
right
in
in
the
there.
living room.
Yeah.
And you can always talk to each other and so on. It makes it more cozy, so they will actually use their room.
So this is the other bedroom for your daughter.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same as the other one.
Exactly the same, almost exact same measures, everything. There's storage in this box, which can also serve as a table. If we have to have a party, we are able to open up the two doors over there, and then open up to one big room.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually sometimes move the sofa over here, and then we'll have a room in here as well.
You are closer in a small space. Do you find that you're closer as a family too?
We always know where everyone are, what they're doing. For me as a parent, at least, I think it's important for me that I know that
How your
I know
kids
the
are doing.
conditions they are in. Yeah, the mental condition at this exact moment. I have an idea of.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
The kitchen is basically as it was when we got it, but we put up these
Upper cabinets?
we modified this corner with had a carpenter do this. There's small shelves in here. We have storage. We need to have like open space too. So this is a kitchenware actually from lived as a child, and it's also nice. It takes no space on the table. This is like the cooking stuff we use all the time.
Yeah.
And the same over there. This one is quite big. But we decided we want to prioritize to have this when we bake bread. If it's not out, so it's easy to get, it's never going to be used.
Lived like this for a while. What do you think is the most challenging or most rewarding thing about living small?
Maybe for me, maybe that's not being able to be alone anywhere.
Lack of privacy.
Lack of privacy, I would say. But I mean, if I want to be alone, I can go for a walk. I can go up to our high bed and take my headphones on and watch something on the tablet or whatever.
Yeah.
We used to have a car. We don't have that any longer. We're not missing it.
Yeah.
It restricts us in some things, but basically it's less trouble than it was if we had a car.
Yeah.
It's always a compromise.
Yeah.
But for us, it's worth the compromise.
And that's what downsizing to me is all about, is making very conscious decisions to do something. And what you choose to do can be different things, because it all comes down to what are my priorities, and then actually trying to really get the top 3 priorities done instead of trying to do everything and then not succeeding in anything at all. This is a living room, and you haven't done a lot of stuff in here. This is mostly a normal living room. Why is that?
Because even when you live small, you need a place where you can feel luxuriosity, and it's how we feel it in here. We got our large sofa.
This is luxury.
Yeah, exactly.
In here you don't have to move anything. You have the TV that moves, and then you have your sofa table.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the lamp.
This is our sofa table, and it's also an extra chair.
Yeah.
When we need that.
Yeah.
If we want to extend the table and we don't want this lamp, we can slide it over here, so it's out of the way.
And we can move it so we can sit all the way around the table.
So the room is still flexible.
It's flexible, and we have room for 12 people around the table.
It's very nice.
When you live in a small apartment, you still need some kind of personality, and you need something that is your own. And this is my corner, where I have decorated the way I like it, and I have my most precious things are here. If you should compare to the experiences we got from when we lived in the house, there were some other sacrifices. Well, first of all, we were not living downtown Copenhagen, but also that we had to clean up a large house. We had to spend a lot of time on fixing stuff. Just we wasted a lot of time on those things. But also another thing that for me I really like that what I have to control is limited.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that you don't have to focus on something that you can't see from when you sit in the sofa. You
And I think that's a really good point, because that is what makes this life like more simple. Sometimes people don't understand that it's more simple if you don't have a completely white apartment with nothing in it. It's still simpler if you know where everything is, you know why you have it, everything is there for a reason, it has a purpose, and that gives some kind of peace of mind and a simplicity, no matter how you choose to decorate a place.
Yeah. This is a bathroom. It's really tiny. We didn't want to pay rent for a very huge bathroom where you don't really spend very much time. Here we have a mirror closet, and then you can open up, and there's the stuff we use daily.
Have you had to do any adjustments after moving in and building everything?
When we built the hybrid, we found out we really needed some more air, and then we thought, okay, what can we do to build the ventilation? And we figured that out, and how can we improve a little bit here and there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for opening up your home for us to peek around.